A controversial drone facility in Fayetteville is facing some new backlash tonight after residents raised concerns about safety and how the project was approved. 5 News reporter Lauren Spencer joins us now, showing us how a city board is siding with a resident who says the business may have been misclassified. Lauren?
Yeah, concerns for the Swarm Aero project range from the company's work developing drone technology to how little the public knew before it opened, and the signing of NDAs by city staff. Now, one resident is arguing it should be rezoned, and tonight the Board of Adjustments agreed. Swarm Aero cut the ribbon on its research and development facility in South Fayetteville earlier this year, but some residents say the project came with little public awareness.
The fact that we were all surprised was pretty telling.
Jesse Buchanan filed the appeal to the Board of Adjustments, saying the business was misclassified and needs to be rezoned from light industrial to heavy industrial due to the work they're doing.
Weapons manufacturing and aircraft production, I think, are the largest industry in Arkansas now. They've overtaken agriculture, and that's been concerning to me.
He says that rezone would trigger a public review process.
If we don't have that transparency, Fayetteville ceases to be this place where we all get to have a say in how we operate.
Demonstrators gathered outside Monday afternoon's meeting. And ultimately, the board sided with Buchanan, saying the property should be rezoned. City Attorney Kit Williams says the Economic Development Coordinator and Airport Manager both signed NDAs during the site selection process.
So it's very typical for someone coming into this area to want a non-disclosure agreement so somebody will not jump ahead of them and then charge them much more for the land.
He says once the site was chosen, the company only needed a business license.
If it's a legal business, it deserves the chance to operate.
But some city leaders say the issue isn't just about legality, it's about transparency.
We really talk about health and safety, prosperity, quality of life. If we do see an industry that we think is counter to that, I think we really have to pause and discuss whether or not that's the fit for Fayetteville.
Swarm Aero declined an interview after tonight's vote, but says it plans to remain in Fayetteville. Mayor Molly Ron released a statement tonight after tonight's vote saying the city followed the law, but acknowledges concerns with current zoning. Says the board's decision could still be appealed to the full council. Lauren Spencer, 5 News.
Thank you, Lauren. Arkansas State Police are investigating after a traffic stop ended with police shooting and killing a suspect this morning in Boonville. Boonville police attempted to stop 45-year-old Gary Blaylock in a pickup truck on State Highway 23. That led to a chase. ASP then responded to assist and used a rolling block maneuver where officers surround the vehicle to slow it down and stop it. Police say Blaylock then got out of his truck with a gun and officers shot and killed him. No officers or bystanders were injured in this incident. ASP says they'll investigate and will submit a file to the Logan County Prosecutor's Office to determine whether deadly force in this incident was legal. In Washington County, a man pleaded guilty to breaking into a Springdale home and attempting to rape a woman. Mario Guerreca Vasquez was arrested in 2024 after the victim called 911 using her Amazon Alexa device. Court documents say Vasquez was stalking the victim for at least a month. He entered the victim's home with a roll of duct tape minutes after the victim's husband left. He was sentenced to 30 years in prison. Authorities say they expect he will be deported to Mexico when his sentence is complete. Well, Bacola voters will decide tomorrow whether to approve a nearly $12 million bond for a new school activity center. Superintendent Jeremy Jackson says the district's gyms and event spaces have been pushed to the limit for years. The $11.8 million bond would build a new activity center with nearly 1,200 seats. District leaders say that would mean property taxes could go up about 18% for some homeowners. And while Jackson says many people support the plan, not everyone wants to pay for it.
It is the cost. Anytime you talk about raising taxes, especially right now with fuel prices the way they are, it's scary. It's scary for folks. What we hope to be able to demonstrate is we continue academic success, we continue to grow our school district, do those things that the property value would continue to grow. That would far surpass the rate of tax that's going to go up.
If this is approved, Jackson says the new facility would help the district handle growing events and keep Bacola schools competitive. Well, recounts for the Arkansas Secretary of State race are so far showing no changes in last week's primary runoff results. State Senator Kim Hammer beat Brian Norris by 900 votes in the Republican primary runoff. Norris asked for recounts in multiple counties, including Washington County. Election officials today say the recount showed no differences. Offices in Baxter, Grant, and White counties reported the same. Saline County will do a recount tomorrow. If the results don't drastically change, Hammer goes on to face Democrat Kelly Grapp in the November midterm. Well, happening today in Bentonville, hundreds of family members gathered to send off 130 troops with the 142nd Field Artillery Brigade. Service members are getting ready to first head to Fort Bliss, Texas, before they're deployed to the Middle East for about 9 months.
He's just over one, so only recently married a little before that. I know the mission is what we're here for. It's just the uncertainty of making sure they're taken care of is kind of my biggest thing. So, but I know they're going to be just fine because they got a good support system.
Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders delivered remarks to the service members and their families. You can find her full speech from today on our website, 5newsonline.com. The deployment comes as President Trump gave another update on the war in Iran, saying the deadline to get the Strait of Hormuz back open is now imminent. The president said if the demand is not reached by 7 p.m. local time tomorrow, the U.S. will target Iran's bridges and power plants. Iran has rejected the U.S.'s 15-point peace plan and is not expected to accept one before the deadline. The president also gave more details on the rescue mission to find the F-15 pilot who was shot down by Iran on Friday. The CIA says he had to evade Iranian troops and climb a mountain in order to send an emergency signal. Trump said more than 150 aircraft were used to rescue the soldier. Meanwhile, the effects are still being felt at the gas pump in Arkansas. The gallon average rose another 2 dimes in the last week, according to AAA, now sitting at $3.61. The national average rose at a slower rate, now sits at $4.12 a gallon. Well, if you take MLK Boulevard in Fayetteville, you've likely dealt with the traffic as crews are working on that major expansion near the I-49 interchange. But tonight, the Department of Transportation says those delays will be worth it in the end. 5 News reporter Taylor Howard has the latest and how drivers and nearby businesses are reacting.
Along MLK near the I-49 interchange, traffic is backing up as drivers try to make their way through ongoing construction.
For drivers, it's turning a normal trip into a longer one.
It's been a bit of a headache. I don't prefer it.
RDOT's widening the area to 6 lanes and adding a new bridge and overpass through the interchange. Here's what it will look like once it's complete. Dave Parker with RDOT says it's all in response to growth in Fayetteville.
In 20 years, you're going to see 20 to 25,000 more cars in that same area. So if we don't do something now, because roads and bridges aren't built overnight, it will really become a bottleneck, unsafe area.
That's why RDOT says the project is worth the short-term problems, so it keeps traffic from getting worse in the area later. But for some, the delays can leave them running on empty.
I had 1 mile gas on the way here. I live half a mile away, and I ran out somehow, so it's awful.
And it's not just drivers feeling it. Businesses near the construction say they're feeling the impact too.
Work faster, so that will be help our businesses. Not only mine, I think that all of the businesses in Exit 64s.
RDOT says construction is expected to last through 2028. In Fayetteville, covering news where you live, Taylor Howard, 5 News.